we're going to be using the OpenAI API to explore coding. Okay, so this is like it's kind of a beginner coders workshop, but using AI, not using AI to write code, but using AI as sort of an output for our code. So I think of this like when people explore a lot of creative coding environments, such as processing or P5, generally they're making programs that display things to the screen. And what we're going to be doing is exploring creative ways of interacting with large language models through code. So we'll start with like a very basic example, and then we'll get progressively a little bit more complicated, and then I'll share some of the ways that I'm using this in my classrooms. I'm a high school teacher. I teach classes in creative computing and in physical computing and entrepreneurship and a few other things. Before I get started with the very first example, I just kind of want to get a sense of the temperature in the room on like how people, if they have any experience with using the OpenAI API. So this is not like uh, using ChatGPT, but using similar large language models through code. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a little poll, and we can just do this if we can just respond in the chat here. Is this good? If I do the chat, is it going to go out to everyone or just our group? Does anyone
I
know?
believe it's just a
Let
group.
me check,
Okay,
but I think yeah, just a group.
okay. So let's try it. So what I want, well, let's do a scale of 1 to 5. Okay, so 1 is you've never programmed in Python before. Okay, and 5 is you've programmed with the OpenAI API. Uh, and then like 3 is like maybe you've done some programming in Python, but not with the OpenAI API. Sorry, I didn't like write this. Okay. Okay, good. A lot of 3s, a 5, 1, great, 2. Okay, good, 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 good. Oh, all right. I think great. I think everybody's in the right place. I mean, the 1 5 I saw this May, Christina, you might be like, oh, this is a little simple, but maybe you'll get something out of it anyway. Maybe it'll give you some ideas for assignments you can do. So let's get started. I am on like a little laptop in an office at school, and so I'm gonna have to share my screen, and I have notes, which means I'm not gonna see everybody. So if you have a question, or if I'm speaking too quickly,
Don't
or
worry, I'm here for managing all that. So
okay,
just feel free
great,
to go ahead. Not a
yeah,
problem. If there
excellent.
are
Okay,
questions, I will be
great.
monitoring it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so I'll go ahead and share this window. All right, we are going to be using Google Colab. Okay, so I'm gonna share links to each of these examples, and I'll put them into the chat. So the way I would like this to work is if you can just open up the link that I put in the chat. Hmm. Okay. So if you open up that link, it will take you to this Google Colab notebook. I did ask Liz to share that you did need to access to this. So I apologize if you find that you go to this link and you can't log into it. This is Google Colab is Google's version of code notebooks. If you have a Google account, a personal Google account, you shouldn't have any problems. If you're using your school account, it's possible that your school doesn't allow access to it, but a personal Google account should have no problems. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do with these examples is make a copy of them. Okay. So I'm not going to edit this version because then that would edit it for all of you. So I'm just going to go to File and then make a copy in Drive. And then I'm going to be working on that copy. So I'm assuming everybody can see this window. I'm going to close that chat. Okay. So the first thing to know is like with these code notebooks, we need to each of these gray cells of code, we need to run them in order. Okay. The first cell here is going to install the library that we're going to use that interacts with the OpenAI programming environment. Okay. So or I should say the OpenAI API, which is the Application Programming Interface. So this is a way of interacting with large language models, OpenAI's large language models through code. So I'm going to press play here because it's going to take a minute or so. You should do the same. So you should have made a copy of this, and we'll just go through each cell one by one. So this is downloading the library that I need. What this library does is it makes interfacing with the OpenAI API quite a bit simpler, quite a bit easier than if we didn't use this library. In a future example, I'll show you what it looks like to interact with the OpenAI API directly through code, and you'll see that I find it a little bit easier to use this library, especially when you're working with students. Now we're going to import the modules and functions that we need in order to run this code. So I'll press this or click this next cell. If you get a warning here, don't worry about that. That's totally fine. And then the third cell here, this is an OpenAI API key. Okay, so this long string is this is my personal API key for working with the OpenAI API. So I get charged money every time we use this. So don't take advantage of me. But I'll keep this key active for this entire session. And for the next maybe afternoon where I am, I'll let you have access to it. But after a couple hours, I'm going to delete this key because this video is going online, and I don't want random people on YouTube to get access to my API key and start using it. So, all right. So I'll set my API key by running that. All right. Now we can get into actually having some fun with programming. Okay. So when this is a function. This chat agent function is a function that is part of this simple AI agents library. And what we can do is we can create a chatbot. We can call it whatever we want. This is just a variable name, okay, chatbot here. You can call it whatever you want. But we can start a chatbot by calling this chat agent function. And then we're going to pass a parameter to that function that is the system prompt. Okay, so you put system equals. And then in here, the system prompt is like some instructions that we're going to give the large language model that tell it, how we want it to act, what we want it to be, just to give it like a little bit of background on, what we want this chatbot to do. Okay. So for this very simple example right now, I'm just saying you are a very funny chatbot. We'll see how funny it really is, but I'll press this button to run that code. So now we've created our chatbot. And now I'm going to have it make up a joke. And so we can send a message to the chatbot just by calling a function that's got the same name as our chatbot here. And then in quotes, we can send it whatever we want. So I will say, let's make up a joke that involves a character named James eating sushi and watching Jaws. And now if I want to actually see what the joke is, I need to print it to the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and press print. Okay, why did James bring sushi to watch Jaws? Because he heard it was the perfect movie for a bite to eat. Okay. So maybe we should say very, very funny. I don't know. That was not that great of a joke. But what I want to show you what we can do is we can explore some concepts around programming now. So we discussed like the system prompt is the what we send to the large language model in the beginning. But what I want to explore is adding some more code. I want to show you how to add inputs. Okay, so like I'm going to add a code block after I create my system or my chatbot here. So I'm going to click this plus code button. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a few uh, a few inputs. Okay, so I'm going to say like okay, I can do this. I'm going to say name equals, and I'm going to say oh no, not chatbot. It's input, and then yeah, what is your name? Okay, or yeah, you can say what is your name. You can say what is the name of a character. In here, I'm also going to say uh, food equals input. What is your favorite food? Okay, and then I'm also going to do movie equals input. What is your favorite? Okay, now when I run this with this cell, it's going to ask me to input answers to these questions. Okay, Um, but the next thing I want to do is pass those variables into this this prompt that we're sending to the LLM, okay, to the large language model. So in order to do that, this right now, this is a string of characters, and I can tell because it's in quotes. We need to change this to something called an F string. And an F string, we can make an F string just by putting an F before the first quote. All right. And what the F string is going to allow us to do is send variables into our string and have them resolved as whatever the value of that variable is. So in order to do that, instead of saying James here, I'm going to, in squiggly brackets, I'm going to put name. All right. And then I'm going to change sushi in squiggly brackets. I'm going to put food. And then movie in squiggly brackets, I'm going to put, instead of Jaws, I'll put movie. Okay. Now, when I run this, now I can change this, and I'm going to do this. Let's see. Rodney, are you still there? Maybe not.
Yes, I am.
What's your favorite food?
It was sushi, but you took that. Let's go with lobster.
Lobster. Good choice. But all right. And your favorite movie?
The Outsiders.
Nice. Okay. All right. So, oops. Oh, wait. I just broke that. I got to do that again. Wait, Rodney, lobster, and okay. So now we have those values. Okay. So when I press play here, now we should get a joke about Rodney and eating lobsters. Okay, why did Rodney eat lobster while watching The Outsiders? Because he wanted to feel like a shell of a greaser. Oh gosh, these are terrible.
Not too
Uh,
bad.
yeah, I guess. Um, so yeah, so the idea here is that we can like explore concepts in programming, basic concepts in programming, um, by using large language models as kind of like an output of our programs. So I think this is interesting because I think that, like I said, the environments like processing and P5, uh, part of their reason for existing is to get like visual artists interested in programming or giving visual artists an outlet to explore programming and create visual art. So I'm really interested in like in using large language models as a way of getting people who are maybe more into writing and language into coding. So maybe like they're just interesting ways to teach coding through the liberal arts or writing. Are there questions, or I see some things coming in the chat? How do you get it to generate a new joke with the same inputs? If you,
maybe it could be better to just go around and at the end I'll collect the questions. Or how do you prefer it?
okay, all right. Okay, Jeff figured it out too. All right, well, let's see. I want to make sure that we stay on track. So I'm going to move on to the next example. And for the next example, what we're going to do is we're going to add a second chatbot, okay? And we're going to get them to talk to each other. All right. So I will share the link to this example. And by the way, after the workshop, I will share a link to all my notes for this so that you can try this on your own time. Like I said, I am going to delete the API key when I get home tonight, but you can create your own API key. And I have a link in my notes to the instructions or the page where you can do that. Okay. You do have to pay for it. It's, it's not a whole lot of money. But let me send this next example. We're going to go through the same thing again, where I want you to make a copy of the code in your drive. So save a copy to drive. And now I'm going to work with that copy as I show this example. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to, there's a couple different pieces of code here that I'll explain when I get to them, but I'll go ahead and run this, install this, the library, and then make sure that we have all the modules and the functions that we need. Once that's done, okay. So once you get a little green checkbox there, you know it's done. So go ahead and run this. All right. So this next block, I know that this looks really weird, and I actually couldn't really, I'll tell you what this does. You'll see with this particular example, the output of our prompts is going to be longer, and it goes off the screen. So what this bit of code does is it wraps the text so that we can all see it on one screen. And the way I figured this out was like I went to ChatGPT and said, "Hey, I'm working in Google Colab notebooks, and I've got this string, output string, and it's going off the screen. Like, what can I do to fix it?" And it told me, this bit of code. Well, it's just some CSS that will make it so that the text will wrap around and that we can read the whole thing in like a paragraph. So I'm just going to press play there. This is the same API key. I'll go ahead and press play there. Now, for this example, I've got two like kind of silly characters, all right? We've got Seinfeld as a chatbot and Bart Simpson as a chatbot. So I'm going to create these two chatbots by pressing play there. And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have Seinfeld introduce himself. So we're going to create that message by sending this introduce yourself message to Seinfeld and then print that message back. So here we go. "Hey, I'm Jerry Seinfeld." I'm not going to do an imitation here, but stand-up comic, television star, master of observation. Yep, he's here to entertain us and make us think, hopefully laugh. Okay, so now I have my second chatbot, Bart, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say respond to this message, to Jerry's message 1, and continue the conversation, and then print that. So press here, and now we'll get we've got Bart responding to Jerry. Okay, so what's the deal with homework, huh? Yes. What is the deal with homework? Good question. All right. So now I can take that message that Bart just said and send it back to Seinfeld. And I can start to sort of simulate this conversation between these two chatbots. So the next thing I'd like to introduce is the idea of a loop. Okay, so instead of having to like write these, create these messages one at a time and press play, what we can do is we can actually put this bit of code into a loop and have it run a few times and then have them actually have a conversation. So I'll show you how to do that. I've got, instead of you watching me type, I'm going to copy it over here. And you can see, okay. So this says, actually, you know what? I can also, I'll put this in the chat as well, because I know we don't have a whole lot of time. So you're welcome to copy that and put it into your code cell. You do need to put a tab before each of these lines, but what this for I in range does is it creates a loop and says that let's run this code 5 times. So the I is like an iterator. So at first I is equal to 1, and then every time it goes through, runs this code, it increases I by 1 until it gets to 5. So this is like Python's way of doing a repeat loop. So maybe if you're familiar with Scratch and you've done like repeat a certain number of times, this loop does that same thing. But it is important that you have a tab before each of these, like a tab indent before each of these lines. Oh, and I did not do it correctly. Let's see. Is it just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Is that it? I've always had tab work for me. I don't know why it didn't that time. There's
James,
yes.
chat 2 is not defined.
What's that?
Chat
Oh, what's not defined? Oh, chatbot 2 is not defined. Okay, thank you very much. This is for an old, thank you. I didn't even look at the error message. I just assumed it was going to work. That's right, because I changed my code yesterday. So chatbot 2 is Bart and chatbot 1 is Seinfeld. Thank you. Who was that, Sarah? Okay. Good. Good. So now they're going to continue this conversation. Okay. So I want to pause for a moment and give you a chance to play with this yourself. You can choose any characters you want. I think the last time I did this workshop, somebody tried Dale Doherty as one of the characters. Could do Dale and Professor Gershenfeld, or whoever you want. Any historical or well-known characters, fictional characters, as long as they are in the training data for GPT-4, then it should work. So I just wanted to pause. This isn't supposed to be like a hands-on workshop, so I want to give people a chance to play with this themselves. Okay. And I don't want this to be me talking the whole time, so I'm eager to hear, from people what they're discovering, what they're trying.
Can I ask a question? Is that okay to just talk?
Yeah. Hey, John.
I'm curious how much control you have over all the different models. I don't know how the API works, but are you choosing O1 or anything like that? Or because I'm noticing this is slow and I just didn't know.
Yeah. So I knew somebody was going to ask me that question. I know that you can change the model with this library. I previously had been using an easier library. It was much simpler to change the model. When I looked up how to change the model with this library, there was some code and syntax that I just felt like wasn't appropriate for a beginner programming workshop. So I can share the documentation for the library. I'm pretty sure this is using GPT-4. In an upcoming example, I'll show you how you can use like vision. And so we can upload like an image and have the large language model talk about that image. But for that, we're going to interact directly with the OpenAI API. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, what are people trying? I'm curious. Just checking your email.
Feel free to share. We have
Yeah,
time,
anyone? Is anyone
I
like
have Einstein talking to Bart Simpson.
okay, nice. Ronald Reagan talking to Bart. Thanks, Rob. So some interesting things that we could try here. If we get to it, I'll show you how I've connected 11 labs for doing voice synthesis as well. And so we could, clone voices or use AI generated voices to give voice to these characters. The other thing that I wanted to show here, let me see, is that's sort of related. Is I don't know if people have seen this before.
I'll be the life of the pie party.
This is
Manfred, did I hear you?
so this is a Twitch stream that is a forever running episode of Seinfeld that's completely AI generated, and it's just like going forever. So all of the characters here, all the dialogue, is all AI generated, and it's just constantly like new content, which is just a weird thing. I don't know if, and I remember when I first heard about this, it was because the characters were sitting around the diner and they were talking about, all of a sudden they were trying to figure out like what they were doing there and why these AI generated characters started having this sort of existential conversation and crisis in this simulation. And I just thought that was too weird not to share at this point in this workshop. Had anybody seen this before or heard of it? I'll put the link here in the chat. You can actually the link's in the notes, so you can. I don't want people to get distracted right now by this. So let me go back to that. Anybody getting like any interesting interactions between these large language models? Troy Aikman and Jerry Jones talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. Yeah, they're being nicer to each other. Yeah, I find large language models tend to be nice. You might tweak the system prompt a little bit. All right. Let's see. How are we doing on time? Okay. I'm going to move on to the next example. Those two examples are like sort of simple chatbots. I wanted to show just how to create a chatbot using code, and then how to create two chatbots, how to have them start talking to each other. I will share at this point that I'm working on kind of an interesting project with the psychology teacher at my school, and he is teaching his students about something called the 5-factor model. So it's a model of describing people's personality based on an acronym OCEANS. So it's like, how open are they? How conscientious are they? how empathetic, or I can't remember what they all stand for, but basically there's like 5 or 6 personality traits. And what the students in my class are doing is they're coding chatbots, and then they're creating sliders where you can change like how open the character is just by changing a slider. And then the psychology students are helping to write the system prompts for those chatbots for the different levels of each of those personality traits. And then we're going to like interview them and see if we can we're going to see if we can create different characters with different personality traits. They're going to give these 5-factor questionnaires to these chatbots to see like basically what we're exploring is this idea of like using chatbots in um, social science or sociological studies or politics or marketing studies. So this is like kind of like a new field that people are using chatbots actually to stand in for, say, like survey respondents in like a marketing survey. So we're going to try and create these characters and then interview them, run surveys on them, and then have them like sit as focus groups. And we're just going to kind of explore this idea and see how if it works or doesn't. So I'll let you know in about a month how that goes. But I thought it was might be an interesting project to try. Okay, so for the next example, Robbie got Bart to be angry, huh? Nice. With Ronald Reagan. Oh, I'd love to see that. All right. So next example is so this is I call this oh yeah, this okay, we're gonna do the recipe generator. So for this one, we're gonna explore lists. So I'm gonna put the this here. And then I can come over to, oh, I got to share my screen again. So this one is the, no, this one. Okay, oops. Oh, wait, did I? Hold on, sorry. I seem to have put it the wrong, did anybody go to that link that I just shared?
Yes.
Is it the recipe generator? It should be, right?
Um,
Just say,
no, it's a simple AI chatbot starter template.
oh no. Okay, hold on 1 second. Recipe generator. Oh no. I think I broke my link. Okay. I'm gonna skip this version, that example, and we're gonna do instead copy.
It does have food. What food do you have in your kitchen down in the
Oh, it does?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
the
Okay.
fourth part done. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. The name threw me off. I must have changed the name. So this is this is it. This is the example I wanted to show. So we'll go to do the same thing. Save a copy in Drive. Okay, and go ahead and run these in order again. Oh, I have too many sessions. So you might see this message as well. We can close our previous message or our previous sessions, copy of 2 characters and this one close. Okay. All right, so I'll do that again. So while this is running, if you've never used a coding notebook before like this, it's a little different than like writing a regular computer, like a Python script that you would just run, say from like a code editor. The coding notebooks are really nice for teaching because You can just run each line one at a time and see what the outputs are. So I will continue running this, and then, okay, so the addition here is that we're going to create a list, okay? And so the way to create a list is with the open bracket, close bracket. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add ingredients to our list and have the chatbot come up with recipes. Okay. So this time the system prompt is, you are a creative chef with expertise in generating original recipes with few ingredients. So press play there. So that creates our chatbot. That created our list of ingredients, but right now the list is empty. So if I go ahead here and say, which foods do you have in your kitchen? Let's see. Somebody give me, Jeff, give me an ingredient.
Shrimp.
Shrimp. All right. Kathy, give me an ingredient.
I was gonna say salmon.
All right.
Maybe another meat.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe that sounds delicious. So shrimp and salmon. I'm going to press play here again and say salmon. All right. So now we have two items in our list of ingredients. Christina, what's another ingredient that we should add to our recipe?
Onions.
Onions. This is going to be delicious. Let's see. Rob, what would you like to add?
How about sriracha?
Nice. Actually, this could be really good. Let's see. Samuel, any ideas? What ingredient would you like to add to this?
Potatoes.
Potatoes. Okay. E or no E?
This is really cool.
Okay. Oh shoot. Okay. Oh no. Did I just break it? Wait, potatoes. Okay, good. Everything. I know I spelled potatoes wrong, but large language models are very forgiving of spelling mistakes. Okay. Aaron, what should we add?
Sorry, I was pulled away for a minute, so I don't
That's
know.
okay.
Marshmallows?
Marshmallows. Okay, good. We got. Okay. All right. I think that's good. So we have shrimp, salmon, onions, sriracha, potatoes, and marshmallows. Let's see what it comes up with. So generate a recipe using only the ingredients in this list. Go ahead and press play here. All right. Spicy shrimp and salmon hash with caramelized onions and sweet potato mash. Okay. Take a handful of marshmallows and chop them into smaller pieces. Yeah, I mean, I dare you to give this a try. Garnish with sriracha. Bon appetit. So yeah, this little example's meant to introduce this idea of a list and how you would add items to a list, like appending ingredients. So yeah, definitely students have a lot of fun with this particular example.
Can I ask a question, James, or would
Yeah.
you rather stay on track? I'm sitting here thinking, like, what if I wanted to interact with this kind of like the bot? If I wanted to add code to say, like, tweak this about the recipe, I'm kind of a little stuck on, do I add another variable? Like, how do I prompt back?
Yeah,
to that bot?
great question. So we have this, oh, wait a minute. Simple AI agent, chatbot. Oh yeah. Okay. So here we create our chatbot here. All right. So the chatbot is just named chatbot. So the all of the messages that we've sent to this particular chatbot in this example are still in the context of the conversation. So so I could say here, like, I could add another piece of code and I could say, like, recipe 2 equals chatbot. Yeah, chatbot. And then, I could say, please alter this to make it gluten-free. Okay. And then I'm gonna also want to print that recipe.
And I'm assuming if I wanted to ask a question, I could do the same input. Like if it said like, how would you, it could ask the user, like, how do you,
Yeah, I could say, yeah,
Like, what else
how how warm should this be? Or but yeah, of course
Okay.
they're like, oh, it was already gluten-free. So okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't wish to spoil the moment, but you have 3 minutes.
Oh, geez.
I thought we went till 3:30. Oh no. Okay.
20,
Um,
3:20.
Okay, 3:20. All right. So
Sorry.
I will show I'll show one more example real quick of where is it? Shoot. No, sorry. All the examples are going to be in my notes, but if I can get to it real quick, hold on. This is so tough with all these windows. I did not mean to show that. Okay. Here we go. So yeah, the last one I wanted to show you was, or it wasn't actually the last one, but marshmallows. I actually don't have it here, but I'm going to put it in before I share my notes, because what I have is a version where you can upload an image of your pantry, and then the chatbot will tell you what you can make with those ingredients. Okay, so that shows like how to use the vision model. But let's somehow I deleted it from my notes. So I'm just gonna have to re-add it and then share. I'm gonna share links to all of these examples plus more. And feel free to play around with them. If you want to continue experimenting with these, you are going to need to get your own OpenAI API key, which you can get if you have an OpenAI account. You can pay as you go. So, and then also for the ones that use voice, you'll need a 11 Labs key, which I will keep mine active maybe through the weekend. Okay, so you can play around with this through Sunday.